So why use PowerShell to manage Microsoft 365? Well, PowerShell for Microsoft 365 is a powerful management tool that complements the Admin Center. For example, you can use PowerShell automation to easily manage multiple user accounts, licenses, and also to create reports. There are 6 core reasons to consider when trying to use Microsoft 365 PowerShell for managing and configuring the tenant. The first one is that you can retrieve information that's not often available directly within the Admin Center. You're also able to utilize features that are only available within PowerShell. You can manage and perform bulk operations, such as updating all of the accounts. You can perform queries and filter any of the data that's available within the Admin Center. We can export any of the content and logs. And then really we can manage and configure multiple services in one single interface. For example, right now, to manage Exchange Online, we have to go to the Exchange Admin Center. To manage Microsoft Teams, we go to Microsoft Teams. To manage SharePoint, we go to the SharePoint Admin Center. Whereas in PowerShell, we can use a single session, connect to everything, and then manage everything that we need to. So let's talk about the first one, which is retrieving information. The Microsoft 365 Admin Center displays most helpful information that we can kind of find. It lets me know information about the users, the licenses, the services, etc. It doesn't show all the possible information, though, that Microsoft 365 stores about user licensing, mailboxes, and sites. An example of this would be trying to view licensed features based on a specific location. So we would need to utilize PowerShell to be able to identify some of that information. Our next one is the PowerShell only features. The Microsoft 365 Admin Center provides access to everyday practical administrative tasks that apply to most Office 365 tenants and environments. The Admin Center's purpose is so that you as the administrator can carry out the most common management tasks. PowerShell obviously is the first place where most of the new features get deployed. So you can often execute PowerShell and run new features or enable new components or even update configuration that is not available inside the Admin Center. Our next one is the bulk operations. The visual interface of the Microsoft 365 Admin Center is really valuable when you're executing single operations, so updating an account, updating a mailbox, updating a site. However, when you need to change multiple values or specifically selected large sets of items, so all of the users, all of the mailboxes, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center is not always the best. An example of this would be, let's say we wish to remove one of our users, Adele, from all of the SharePoint sites that she's been added to. Now, there's no option for that within the admin interface. This would definitely have to be a PowerShell action. Next is the ability to perform queries and filters. Now, the Admin Center provides several ways to filter data to locate targeted subsets of information. So, for example, display a list of mailboxes within New York, so you can filter that out. However, there are limitations on what you can do as far as that filtering would go. So another example would be displaying a list of all mailboxes within either New York or London. The interface just doesn't have that level of filtering and querying. This is another reason to utilize PowerShell. Then, of course, we can export content and the logs. So the Microsoft 365 Admin Center lets you view lists of data. Not every list of information or data is exportable to you as the administrator. The Admin Center doesn't provide a way to print the displayed lists either. So, for example, if you wanted to export a list of users with all of the specified fields that are associated to the user, you cannot do that within the admin interface. You actually have to use PowerShell. Then, of course, managing multiple services. The components that make up Microsoft 365 work together. Everyday admin tasks often cross those services. For example, if you wanted to modify user properties, including mailbox specifics, then you're managing a user account in Azure Active Directory and then the mailbox that's associated to it. PowerShell can provide access to service-specific information, which can then combine with other values. So instead of having to access multiple admin centers, you're able to access a single interface or session, which is connected to all of the services.